'Tis the season to be predicting. Fa la 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 la. Here are 10 predictions I have for AEW going into 2025. Number 10, AEW finally gets their developmental brand, that being Ring of Honor. Now, I have heard a lot of people speculate that maybe this AEW Shockwave is going to be AEW's version of NXT. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Shockwave, because it's only going to be an hour, is probably going to be similar to like WWE Speed or something like that. I think Ring of Honor has to become the developmental brand because AEW kind of needs one. And I'm not saying that anything is wrong with AEW by any means, although obviously there are things wrong with every single promotion. I just think that AEW has a handful of wrestlers that would benefit from being on a developmental brand and not being on TV so much. And I think Matt Cardona coming to Ring of Honor is a last-ditch effort to see what do you have left with Ring of Honor. Can he be a guy that could save the brand? I think if not, AEW wouldn't have invested in Ring of Honor if they didn't have a backup plan, and I think that backup plan would be the developmental brand. Seeing as you do have a lot of wrestlers on your roster who may not be like in like their younger 20s or anything like that, but you do have a lot of them that with a bit of development could become potential stars for your company. You have people like Hook, who I think Hook still has a lot of growing pains to go through. He's pretty good in the ring, but I feel like his mic and character work just is not there yet, but a developmental brand could definitely help him. You have Anna Jay and Deonna Purrazzo, who I also believe a developmental brand may help them finally get a character of some sorts as well. And if that does happen, then number 9, Athena is gone. Unless she gets called up, there's no way you're selling me on the fact that Athena is going to stay in a developmental brand. She is way beyond development. She's one of the best women's wrestlers on this planet when it comes to mic work, ring work, character work, charisma, etc., etc., etc. She checks every box that you were looking for with flying colors. I don't know if AEW is going to end up using her because you do have a lot of women right now on the roster like Mariah May, Toni Storm, Julia Hart, Jamie Hayter, Mercedes Moné, Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, Willow Nightingale, and I feel like a lot of them are probably primed for a big run in 2025. I think Toni Storm does end up getting her AEW Women's Championship back. There's also the possibility that Mercedes Moné gets that championship as well. Chris Statlander likely gets a TBS title back at some point. I think Athena could be somewhere in there, but she is like 36, 37, so how much longer does she have to be wrestling, especially at a high level? I think this is also probably why WWE wouldn't really take her because she is a bit on the older side, although they did sign a few women who are a bit on the older side as well. I don't know if she went to WWE, would they want to use her? There's a possibility that TNA would, but TNA got a whole mess right now, and they just signed Tessa, and literally nobody wants to work with Tessa, so I don't know. Maybe there's a possibility that she does stay in Ring of Honor because she doesn't see a better option, but I would be surprised if nobody did sign her. If AEW didn't pick her up, it'd be crazy because she, like I said, she's one of the best women's wrestlers on this dang planet. Number 8, Christian Cage fails his cash-in. Pretty sure you always saw the head peeking behind me, but he fails it because of one Adam Copeland. I just don't think that Christian Cage needs to win a championship in 2025. He's already a solidified wrestler. He's a Hall of Fame wrestler in any company that he chooses to, retire in, whether it's AEW or WWE. I think one final feud between Adam Copeland and Christian Cage is going to be perfect, and I don't think it needs a belt, nor do I want to see this have a belt. Sure, you could always have somebody literally just beat them like a month or two later, but I think you don't need to do that with the AEW World Championship. You have way too many stars in that position right now. Jon Moxley, MJF, Kenny Omega's coming back soon, Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay, Jay White, Hangman Adam Page. You have way too many guys that really still need that belt to continue solidifying AEW and putting it on the map while also solidifying their careers as well. I feel like giving the belt to either one of these guys at their stages in their career just is not going to be a good thing. And yes, I know you could say that, oh, well, he won a Casino Gauntlet, and you're going to make that whole little, whatever the heck you want to call that briefcase thing, you're going to make it basically a joke. You're not going to make it a joke if you have a very good reason for it. And literally, we're going to hear Adam Copeland's music. Nobody's going to think it's a joke. Everyone's going to be like, yo, that's one of the biggest moments in AEW history. By the way, if this feud does happen, please, Tony Khan, no steel cage matches. I don't care what they ask for. No. And if they ask for it and you say yes, they are not allowed to go anywhere near the top of a steel cage. I cannot see that happen to one of my favorite wrestler of all time, Adam Copeland, aka Edge. Also, I do believe this is like a one-off match. It's going to be at either like a Double or Nothing or likely at All In, to be honest. And that's actually where I would want to see it at. Then after that, I'm pretty sure both these guys probably retire from wrestling. Maybe they go back to WWE on like Legends contracts, because I would love to see Adam Copeland, Sash Edge back in WWE. Not because like I love WWE more than AEW, but I love 2K. I don't love 2K actually. I can't stand the game. But if Edge is there, oh man, I still play 2K23 because Edge is there. And if I'm getting Christian too, oh, chef's kiss, man. It's going to be amazing. You know what else would be amazing? Number 7, Jay White winning a singles title in 2025. Now, look, I already said before, if this man does not win the AEW World Championship by 2026, it's a complete fumble by Tony Khan, and I want this man out of this company. I don't know where he would really go, though, because I don't have much faith in WWE to, really use guys of his stature. We've already seen what's happened with Finn Balor, a former Bullet Club member, former Bullet Club leader, just like Jay White. But if this guy, let me tell you right now, if this guy does not win a singles title, a TNT championship, a Continental championship, an international championship, preferably not the TNT championship because that's basically a gimmick belt. If he does not win either the Continental or the International belt, I am going to be fuming. You're going to see smoke coming out of my ears. Jay White is one of the most talented wrestlers on this dang planet. Everything you could ask for, very, very similar to Athena. This man checks off every single freaking box. If he does not have a singles belt, Tony Khan, let me tell you right now, buddy, I hope you are listening. I hope you got everybody at the office listening. If he does not win a singles belt by 2025, I'm going to come have a little talk with you, buddy, all right? I'm going to come have a talk with you. I think another person that's going to have a talk with Tony Khan, or at least another few people, are going to be number 6, House of Black, because I do believe that this group will disband in 2025. I just think the writing is on the wall for this group, to be honest. You really haven't done much with them. You threw them in that whole Adam Cole MJF thing where you had Adam Cole win both the matches, but then didn't even get the match at Full Gear against MJF. I felt like it was really just a waste. If you were going to just have him lose, have him fight other people. I guess you were trying to show off Adam Cole's strength against 2 bigger guys in Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews, but man, oh man, did you just slap these 2 dudes in the face? I did not need to see that if that was going to be the result. If you were going to have Adam Cole fight MJF at Full Gear, even if he lost, I wouldn't have cared, but if you were going to have him fight him at Full Gear, then okay, I love this, absolutely amazing, but you didn't have that happen. Sure, he's fighting him at World's End, but I got a prediction on that in a minute. I just don't like this. I don't like House of Black not being used. They're one of the best groups. This group is so dang cool, and I really wish they had the Trios Championship, but sadly it's stuck on the Death Riders, and they ain't doing a dang thing with them belts. I don't even see them belts on the Death Riders anymore. I actually wish they would lose the belts and just put them on these guys, because, oh my God, they're so phenomenal. Absolute aura every single time I see them on my screen. I know they started bringing Julia Hart back, and I absolutely love that because she's so dang amazing. She got this big old feud with Jamie Hayter, basically House of Black been calling for her to come back, and I absolutely love it. But with that said, I still want to see the group disbanded if you're not going to do much with them. I just think that there's better things you can do with all 4 of them than just having them in a group and you're not really doing much with them at all. Just a waste of talent, in my opinion. Speaking of wasting talent, number 5, Will Ospreay will win the Casino Gauntlet next year, and if he doesn't, I'm going to have an issue. This man had one of the biggest years in wrestling. He was PWI Insider's number 3 male wrestler behind Swerve Strickland and Cody Rhodes. If you don't put the belt on him, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I question things that WWE does. I question things that AEW does. This would be my biggest what are you doing and what are you doing history. This man is a superstar. AJ Styles-esque. He can carry a company. He can send a company to the dang stratosphere. Put the belt on him. You could have it happen in a Casino Gauntlet match where he wins this match and maybe he cashes in at All In. I think that would be really, really cool because this is his match. I don't think you're going to have him be inserted in this whole AEW versus Death Riders thing because Darby Allin is going to dethrone Jon Moxley. If you don't do that, it's a waste of the entire storyline, in my opinion. Plus, Darby Allin doesn't need to hold the belt that long, so maybe you could have him hold it for like 2-3 months, and then here comes Will to take the belt off of Darby. You could do that. I just like him winning at Casino Gauntlet and then cashing in at All In. It'd be so dang cool. Number 4, Street Profits signed with AEW. The last time they signed a major contract was back in 2019. Montez Ford has been extremely upset with WWE, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't see WWE doing much with the Street Profits, mainly because there's a certain man by the name of Triple H is in charge. Also, because of the fact that there has not been a black singles champion for the past 2 years in WWE. There actually hasn't been a black tag team champion within the past 2 years in WWE either, so that's even worse. I just don't see WWE doing anything with Street Profits, though. I feel like they are past their WWE prime, I guess. They're focusing on other teams, even though I feel like Street Profits are a lot better than most of the dang tag teams on the roster. I think that they end up leaving the company. Maybe it's only Montez Ford, though. Maybe not Angelo Dawkins does, but I think both of them should leave the company. I think Angelo should go with Montez, and they should go to AEW. Imagine the matches we could have, man. Street Profits versus Kings of the Black Throne. Street Profits versus Private Party. Street Profits versus Young Bucks versus FTR versus the Outrunners. There's so many great matches for them to have there. I think that they would also be pretty dang good in AEW as well. Although I wouldn't want to see them leave WWE because I really do like them there. I just feel like they're not going to use them at all, to be honest. And it sucks, too, because, in my opinion, they have one of the best matches of all time against the Usos back at Money in the Bank in 2022. That match was absolutely phenomenal. If you have not seen that match, by the way, you need to go watch it. And they have some of the best promos. In my opinion, they were the best feud for the Usos during their Undisputed Tag Team Championship run. Obviously, the Usos' best, feud of all time is against the New Day. But this is definitely a close second, in my opinion. A very, very close second. That's how good these two are. Number 3, Undisputed Era turned their backs on Adam Cole and aligned with MJF. Now, this is something I also predicted a while back. I believe this happens. There is no way you're telling me that MJF was willing to go in a match against Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. I know he sent that whole little payment to Don Callis, but if it didn't work, you think he didn't have a backup plan? No, I think the backup plan is Undisputed Era. And on tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite, that seemed even more clear because you got Undisputed Era behind Adam Cole. You don't got Kyle Fletcher, though. Things are, seeming a bit tricky. Maybe Kyle Fletcher is the first person to align with MJF, and then the rest of Undisputed Era starts coming one after another, kind of like the domino effect. But I do believe MJF is the head of a faction in 2025. And honestly, I would love to see this. It's going to be so dang good because MJF is just so dang good. I think this also helps Adam Cole so much more because he's always had a group around him, which makes him look a lot smaller than he already is. But now him by himself versus a lot of people who are bigger than he is, this is definitely going to show people that, just because he is a smaller guy, that it doesn't mean much. He can take down dudes that are bigger than him, and he can definitely stand on his own and be a top guy in a company. And I still have a lot of faith in Adam Cole. I believe that within the next 3 to 4 years, he's going to start, cooking again like how he was in NXT, and he's going to be one of the top guys in AEW, in my opinion. Speaking of factions, though, specifically one that loves to hurt people, number 2, the Hurt Syndicate not only get a 4th signing, but also a 5th. So for the 4th signing, I do believe it's going to be Lio Rush. I know some people still think it's going to be Ricochet. Honestly, I just don't see it. He does not give off heel aura at all. Lio Rush does, though. And with Bobby and Shelton being a lot older, they probably have like 3 to 4 years at best. Probably 2, though. They should be trying to mentor the young talent. And Lio Rush is only 30. I think that they can mentor him, and he can end up being one of those top guys in AEW as well. There is a possibility that it could be Powerhouse Hobbs, but he's kind of like a whole storyline right now with, the Don Callis family. So probably not going to be him. And then that other 5th signing is going to be one Mercedes Moné. Now, I did want to pick a bit younger woman, but she is only like 33. There's not really any other young women that I see aligning with the Hurt Syndicate. And, if we're trying to keep this, we're trying to keep it like this. It's really just her, Queen Aminata, Willow Nightingale, and I think that might be it, although I could be missing some. I think Mercedes Moné makes the most sense here because she, much like Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, can uplift the younger talent in AEW. We've already seen that she put on an absolutely phenomenal match with Chris Statlander, one of the most talked about matches in AEW history. And it just makes so much sense. The person about money is going to align with the person about money. Make it happen, AEW. I want to see a woman in the Hurt Syndicate, and I want to see it be Miss Mercedes Moné. This would also be one of the few times where we've seen a woman have a manager, much less a male manager, and I think this would be absolute gold. Mercedes Moné and MVP? Oh my gosh, sign me up. That is a movie. Speaking of a movie though, number 1, we are entering the women's revolution in 2025. I believe this Mercedes Chris Statlander match that I just talked about a second ago was the start of it. It's very reminiscent of Sasha Banks versus Bayley 2014 NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. And I believe that we are going to start seeing a lot more now from the women's side of things in AEW. It's going to happen a lot sooner than a lot of us thought because people are starting to get invested in women's wrestling in AEW and they want to see more women. They know that this roster is talented. This roster is super dang stacked. And while a lot of people will say that NXT is the best women's division, in my opinion, I truly believe it's AEW. I named some of these women already, but Mercedes Moné, Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, Willow Nightingale, you got Toni Storm, Mariah May, you got Rio coming back at some point. Ruby Soho is still there as well. If Athena comes up, that's even more talent on the dang roster. Julia Hart, Jamie Hayter, then the list goes on and on and on. And I think with this women's revolution is going to come an official women's mid-card belt. It took WWE a long time. I think AEW is going to see that because these two companies, I'm going to be real with y'all, man, they've been mirroring each other, okay? If one does something, the other does something, but just tweaks it. And I think AEW is going to feel the pressure from WWE with their women's mid-card belts. They're not going to add 2 of them because they don't even have 2 top card belts, but they're going to add a women's official mid-card belt. The TBS belt, in my opinion, is just a joke. Get an official women's mid-card belt, and I think it's going to help this division so much more because there's so many talented women, and now you're really going to have 3 belts, in my opinion. Obviously, the TBS belt is going to be very similar to the TNT belt. And I don't know who gets that belt. Maybe you put it on Chris Statlander or you put it on Willow. Actually, no, please put it on Willow. My goodness, man, this woman is so over. She's so dang over. She is literally the Bayley or the Becky Lynch of this dang company, man. Put the belt on her, please. Of everything on this list, though, I really hope this one happens the most because I absolutely love women's wrestling, man. Women's wrestling, in my opinion, is just so much better than men's wrestling a lot more often than not. And I want to see the women get more respected because they work their butts off for not as much as the men get. They kill it every single time. I very rarely see a bad women's match. I want to see more happen for women's wrestling, and I want to see AEW that claims to be the progressive company that be over here talking about some we got the best black wrestlers, we support black wrestlers, we got LGBTQ plus wrestlers, you know, we support LGBTQ plus and all that stuff. You had CM Punk shouting out the trans kids and all that. Let's start with the women as well, okay? Let's support the women. Let's give the women equal matches or at least enough matches instead of 1 to 2 because the same thing that WWE does and I really am sick of it. I want to see the pay-per-views also have 3 to 4 women's matches as well. I want to see a casino gauntlet for the women eventually. I want to see maybe a tag team bout for women's eventually because you do have a lot of women in this division that you could start throwing some tag teams together. Although maybe that one's a little risky because the women's tag team in WWE sucks as well. There was a time period it was really good, but maybe you don't do that one. I don't know. Let's start with the mid-card, though. Get to the casino gauntlet next. And then let's just start, you know, as we go on, keep adding more and more matches and more promos for these women because they are absolutely phenomenal. But hey, look, these are just my predictions, though. I'd love to hear from y'all. What are some big predictions y'all got for AEW 2025? Do y'all think they're going to continue excelling? They already had an amazing year this year. I believe they had the best year in wrestling. I know a lot of people ain't going to like that, but I believe they did. Y'all go ahead and let me know down below, though. And if you haven't already, make sure, as always, you like and subscribe for more. Also, P.S. for anybody wondering, that's, you know, maybe when wondering, why do you record vertical videos and not horizontal videos? I don't have a camera on my PC. It broke a couple of months back when I was recording some gaming content, and I could flip my phone to the side. The only problem with that is, though, I can't get my eyes right and I end up looking everywhere but where I'm supposed to look. I've tried it multiple times. It's just much easier like this. I hope y'all are enjoying the videos regardless though. Although with that said, I do have some plans for a new way to record so I can still record vertical but upload horizontal. We'll see soon though.